this is kind of new for us because I don't think we ever had a problem with chairs yet here. It's nice. It's really nice. There are a few, there are a couple, yes. So that's still okay. 4. So you can still go in front, but we brought some more chairs in the back. Anyways, welcome. We are meeting for a very special occasion, which is 35 years of INEX, which you all know. So I'm really happy that you all came, and I'm really glad to see so many faces, all the new, and I am really excited to be able to chat and reconnect, and also to learn about the history, right? Because I think that will be really amazing to hear from all the people who were there and who are living it. That will be special. Just a couple of things. As you saw probably when you arrived, we have few special places here, and I would welcome you to go and be a bit more interactive with them. We have map of the world and map of Europe over there in a corner, and maybe you want to go after the presentation and write down all your volunteering experiences and put it into the map, so then we can see how many people traveled to where, and we can also chat about that. As you saw, we have these cute name tags with all the shortcuts and like all the letters at the bottom. So when you meet somebody, you can see all the experience they have with INEX as well. And so it's a little icebreaker. And we have, thanks to our amazing volunteers, actually thanks to Marki, which I don't see him over there. He was putting together for the last 2 days, actually, the exhibition of the timeline of history of INEX and the photo exhibition. So big thanks, because I don't think we would be able to do that, and now we can see all the milestones in our history, and also the little corner with very special things, all the old publications that you can go through. There is also a very special corner over there by the door. Because I will not go too much in detail because it will be in one of the talks. We had our ex-president visiting one of our work camps, and he wrote a little, and I don't know if it's a poem or whatever it is, or just message about it, so you can go and read it. What else? Oh yeah, we have the memory wall, I think. So you got an email from me asking you to bring maybe a little picture or something from your travels, from your volunteering, so you can share with us. Or you can just go and write some memory that you have, that you got through volunteering, through work camps, through working at INEX, or anything, something nice that you like to remember. And, oh yeah. And Peter, one of our speakers, actually brought a huge backpack with him, full of old photos, and they are amazing. So I would invite you to go through it, because that's a very special possibility and occasion to see all that. And yeah, we have our interactive creative corner that we put together with Marketa from Lisbon, which I don't see, but thank you. So you can create there your own coffee peeling or dry shampoo and take it home. So there are different places you can go, and you can chat, and you can let us know where you've been and what you did and how it was and everything, because we are very interested in knowing that, actually. So that's a very long introduction. But certainly, I would like to welcome everybody here. I'm very happy to see so many faces, and I'm really excited to chat with you later. But now, we are going to the good part. So I would like to give word to our first three speakers, who will introduce and take you through the beginning of INEX, how it all started. And because I didn't have a chance to go through all the speakers, just want to let you know, I will not be going here after the one or two parts or eras are finished, you will introduce the next person yourself, and they will just come. You can say just, okay, this part will be, tell somebody else, so I don't have to come here and waste the time talking more, so yeah. Okay, anyways, that's all. So I would like to invite Peter, Vitek, and Jirka to the stage, and I will give them word. Thank you so much for coming here, and I'm excited to share with you. Okay, I actually forgot somehow to show you this. Don't forget the times because we definitely not there. But this will be the presentation. These are all the speakers that will take you throughout the history of INEX. So we go from the 90s to the 10s. Then we have a little block for volunteering club that turns into INEX Up, and then Respond, and then we have football for development to Fairplay Point. These are very important because it was part of INEX project, and then they became their own, the independent NGOs. So I think that's a very big success. Then we have 20s, and at the end, we will talk about now and the future a little bit. And yes, big surprise that we actually managed to do. Big thanks to my PR team for that. We have a brand new video that we want to share with you today. So it's not long, it's a short video, but it's, I didn't see it, but apparently it's really good, so I will be surprised with you. Thank you.
So, good evening. We will try to reconnect, and we hope we will be connected after this evening or morning, because Christina and Pavel will start about 6 o'clock morning time. And so...
somebody has a plane home.
Yeah. And I have something clever to start our discussion, but it was that we look to history, luckily, backward. So we can evaluate already after the history, and and I wanted to tell something which is not so big fun as the rest, and that's in the time when we started. We will speak about the 90s and 0 years. We were building not only in this association, which we are happy that still exists, and also in all the Czech society, we people were building a civil society, which is now in a situation which is not very sure after 30 years. It's good to memory that. And now jump to funny history.
Hello. So I tell something about deep history. It was not 90s, it was in 1989 when the communism was a bit broken, and I was a young student, and I was searching in a magazine named Mladý Svět what to do with my life, and I found some small notice that some organization finding volunteers for new projects around the world, and especially in Czech Republic. And it was in 1990 maybe, or 1989, I'm not sure. I was like volunteer in INEX project, and from the time I start my history, but I I forgot a lot because now I live in Moravia and we drink a lot so I have friends and they know more.
I would like to warn you at the beginning if in my English jump some German words because I live already a long time in Germany, and this is also a consequence of my experience with INEX. I would like to give some personal story how I became with volunteering. And how I met INEX in my life. It all started actually in the 60s. Not with me, but with my uncle who learned German language, and then he individually contacted a similar organization in Austria and Switzerland, and he did some work in these countries, and he talked about his experience always in our family, and I was begeistert. And when I was end of 80s, I wanted to do some of this project as well. So I asked him, what should I do? And he said, well, write some letters to, letters, not emails, letters, to this organization. I wanted to go to Holland, so I did it. And they sent me a back answer that I should contact, it was already in 91, I should contact the local partner. I didn't have a clue that Czechoslovakia at the time had some organization, they organized also work camps. So they sent me a contact for the organization KMC. You don't probably, most of you probably never heard of. It was a concurrent of INEX at the time. And so I went there and I applied for this work in Holland, which I was accepted, and 2 weeks before the end of beginning of the work camp, I received a letter that it was cancelled. So I was very disappointed, and my brother at that time, he was working with student association, which was based in Senovážné náměstí, the first address of INEX. He told me, come to us in the last floor of the building. There's some organization called INEX, and they do something similar. So I did, and I went there and asked if there are some projects still available. And I did my first work camps in England because everybody wanted to go to the West, and after this, especially to England, because we wanted to learn the language. Then I came back, and with my friend I said, everybody wants to go to the West, so let's go to the East. So we decided to go to some project in Russia as far as possible, and we did our second work camp in Russia, behind Ural Mountains in the district of Tyumen. I leave it for you to search where it is. After this experience, the logical way was to do work camp leader for the Czech work camps, and through this experience I did 2 work camps in Czechia, and I did also one project in France. And then there was a time we met with VTech at the General Assembly of INEX, I guess it was 92, And I warn you, don't become a friend with him, because when he will tell you, let's do it, it's a fun, and you never get rid of him. We are still friends. We don't meet so often, but in 92 we became the members of the board of INEX.
I never heard that history. Still, I'm for a short time in these times. In '92, it was very foggy for me. I never heard about something like international volunteering programs or something like that. But I traveled a lot also to Russia, to Baikal, because we have been studying together biology. And one day he said me, okay, let's do something for Czech countryside. It will be fun. I said yes, okay, because we lived in one room anyway, or nearby from me, behind the theater, there was a accommodation for students. It's not anymore, I think. So it was not. There was not excuse. So I went in 1995 to my first work in Czech countryside. In fact, I never traveled to be a part of the work in abroad. Never in my life. So I have only experience with organizing with this kind of events and happiness in Czech countryside and different places. And so I tried first 1995 year, and next year, I don't know if it was, I have it in computer, I read it yesterday. There was a General Assembly in 1996. And I hope today will not happen to us something, anything unpredictable. Because I went there, okay, I will start to be a member. So I filled the form on the corridor, I started a member, and 1 hour later I was a chairman. And it starts with this point, and next, I don't know, 15 years, I spent as a chairman of this association. So I am very happy it still exists and work and do activism, volunteering, and anything like that. But what I want to tell now, it was a work, because as you remember what Vitek said, it was an association, very small one, which 1991st year, like, I don't know how they did it, but they took know-how from the post-communist, post-socialistic youth organization organized by official structures and youth exchange. And I said, okay, I'm a chairman, but I don't want to do anything like a youth exchange. We would like to, and we decided together, of course, with other people which are not here today, and we would like to promote volunteering like our partners in abroad. So we decided a lot of changes, and we did a lot of changes first years, which ended with the changing of the name. So it was not anymore International Association for Youth Exchange, but Association for Voluntary Activities. I don't know the year, it was like 1997, 98, I don't know. So this is my personal story, and the time there was something like a wild 90s, but I think it was time of many changes, and from today I can say many changes in the Czech society and organizations, and like many people wanted to travel, so they came to us. But also from the middle of 90s we started also to be a civil association as a part of civil society too. It means we started to support like real projects in the places where we thought they needed in Czech Republic, not to just organize some kind of exchange, but to help. So this was the first point of change of association, I think. And you would like to continue somehow?
Somehow. I would like to I add this topic because I think it's an important part of INEX. At the beginning, mid of 90s, we had problems to how to run the organization personally, and there were no funds and the money to employ someone to run the administrative of the organization. But we had this civilian service, or to say alternative service to army, and it was the the time of the first first paid employees of INEX, and thanks to this program or this support, the INEX could survive the first years. I was lucky to be the second civilian man in this service, and we had four men. They during this time from 95 until the end of 90s, till the day the civilian service was to end. But I wanted to stress that this opportunity was also important for our organization to survive and further to develop.
I forgot to tell, when I met first time Jirka, I came to Senovážné náměstí, to the office, not on the top of the building, but already in 4th floor only, and the office was like half of the stage. There was one man sitting and fax. So you can imagine. Do you have a picture? Yeah, all right.
During this time came the day we decided also to have new image of the organization, to change the logo. Unfortunately, we don't have the previous logo. Maybe yeah, okay. So who is interested? Peter can show it. It's very interesting story with this new logo. We have no clue who did it, and it happened. So I was sitting in this office, 2 times 2 meter, and we send out information that we are looking for some volunteers. They would give us some ideas for the new logo, and then suddenly appeared a girl. She said, "So I study a design somewhere in some school in Prague, and I did some pictures, some drawings." And she brought a folder and just put it on a table. I looked through it and I found it quite interesting. When I looked up, she was gone. And we never found her. So I was hoping that maybe she's sitting today here, and if it's so, then I would like to thank her. Because it was, I think at the end it was the only suggestions, and it was so good that we quite like it, and we lived with this logo for a long time till the day I learned that new corporate identity would be launched and you change it, which is quite understandable. But we quite like it, so I hope you like it as well. But I thought you would like to hear the real story behind this previous logo. So, and now is the first 10 minutes afterwards. The marketer told us, don't worry, you have only 10 minutes, so now we come to, how to say it, millennials. So I would like to give words to my colleagues. They are responsible for those topics.
Yeah, I spent with the logo a big part of my life, I must say, with its identity, so still I have it with me. That years and that period, I was thinking about which characteristics are appropriate, and let's say it's more and more placing the international volunteers to the places and the rural places in the associations, like renewing some castles or any other crazy ideas. Also the cultural development of the understanding in Czech society, helping with in the association in the Czech Republic, which are starting to care about other people and about children and so on in a new style. So this was a transformative period, really, as it's written somewhere there. And my personal experience and personal story from that time can be we were traveling with the members of the board around the Czech countryside as we decided to have something like a regional center, as we have seen before in South France with Regis and many other partner organizations in Western Europe. They have some interesting long-term projects in some real places to do some real work, not only assist other associations. So we were traveling 1 year, and we have been seeing many buildings which were offered to us to occupy and rebuild and restore and bring some activities. But finally we ended in the village which Vitek offered, and Vitek can explain why.
I don't know. It was basically, I think, in Nasavarky.
No, but it was just
it was intermediate. Yeah, Kostelec Horky, really end of the world. You can look on the map. And it was idea very romantic to make in the really end of the world some new beginning with real pure countryside people, really do volunteering and really develop this forgotten landscape. And we found old house and old school and old community, and we with our young energy wanted to really develop. And what happened, our nice community was full of energy. We started. I bought old house personally, and I saw that I will be really inside this activity. And what happened, man and woman has some relations, good and better, and sometimes a lot of changes between. And so my wife told me, yes, good idea, but I'm pregnant and I need to find my family in South Moravia. So I lost my friends in this nice place, and I took journey 200 kilometers away, and they tell a story more about.
But finally, it was a happy story because the, as you know, probably from the magazines and newsletters there, we in that period we based 2 regional branches, one in Tvarožná Hrota and second one in Kostelecké Horky. Soon after, third one in Brno, as Jirka knows a little bit, the difference with social programs. And so for me, it brought that I slowly finished my PhD studies, and I never finished because I must finish other projects. So you can see many pictures from this village, from the old school and the place. Because first, what we started to do there, it was training and meetings on spring preparation of the camp leaders and autumn meeting and general assemblies. First 2 years we have some. Like I didn't want to go to Kostelecké Horky first time, and my girlfriend also not. So we went first to Nasavrky, which was in the real middle of the Czech Republic, and we spent 2 years there. So there are also pictures from that place, from Nasavrky, especially the black and white. Some of them are from that trainings where they took place there. And but finally we went to Kostelecké Horky anyway, and after we bought a house, after I lost that family again, because we divorced, and I stayed there. I'm still there. So if you would like to visit Kostelecké Horky and listen one day stories, come and I will show you all the places which were changed already. And Jirka.
I want only to add that Vitek lives also in Tvarožná Hrota, and although the regional center don't exist anymore from different reasons, that these 2 men are still there, and if you would like to visit these places, then you are welcome. But as I warned you, don't become much keep away. But both places are very beautiful, and I like especially the countryside in Vice Carpathian, Vila Carpathi, and I always like to come there. Maybe last contribution to our second session is how INEX helped me to get experience abroad. Now you have a lot of opportunities, different programs through the schools, Erasmus, EVS, voluntary service, several foundations. You can travel free through Europe. You can work almost everywhere without big problems. We didn't have that, and when I was doing my civilian service in INEX, I met a lot of people from our partner organizations, and at the beginning of the 90s, I always wanted to improve my English. So I keep on pressure of our partner organization in Wales, UNA.
English in Wales, yes.
in UNA RYS, later UNA Exchange, and at the end they told me we have got a grant for you, and then we would like to invite you for a small project to work for our organization for 3 months, or only for 3 months. Okay, but better than nothing. So I came for 3 months as a volunteer, in March 1999. I left the organization as an employee in 2002. On the photo you can see I was happy after 9 months to receive a work permit. It was big fight with the administration's Ministry of Interior Affairs in Great Britain to get this permit, because I was not from European Union at the time. And Wales was part of Great Britain. That time, yeah. So it was quite difficult, and I was lucky. I received this work permit, and then I spent almost 4 years with this organization. I learned about North-South projects, which you know probably now as well. We didn't have that in INEX at the time. It was all developed or extended later. So there's one photo from our training for the volunteers to go to the South projects in Africa, South America, Asia. Some other oops. Okay. And with this organization, I also had a chance to get a grant for a development project, to go to Africa. I went to 2 organizations in Botswana and one in Namibia, and developed some new contacts and brought some opportunities for the new projects for UNA Exchange and also for the other partner organization in Alliance. So for me it was quite a big part of my volunteer life in INEX, although it was in Wales at the time, but I think I brought also some experience to INEX. So for me, it's all. The last word I wanted to say: we didn't prepare anything with artificial intelligence today. You could probably notice that.
Yeah, we have intelligent enough. We are intelligent enough. Last 2 things, what I have here, in that times we were not part of European Union, as Jirka said, and but when we started to be, I suppose after entrance, yeah, first long-term EBS volunteers also came to Czech Republic, and the first volunteer, Lucia Baldini from France, went through our hands to Czech Republic to be a long-term volunteer in Orlické Hory Mountains in open-air museum with Bohumir Dragon, which is the man with the wild outlook, which is on the top of one of the magazines on the table there. And after the second volunteer came also from France, Colombe Pival, which is she's also in the albums here, and so we started with the long-term volunteering in that times, and also it's important to say that we started to be a part of organized Czech civil society, and this is a floor for Martina already, I think. Slowly, but I maybe did want to say something before she's prepared. Thank you very much.
I'm sorry, last words. I would like to thank Marketa for her patience with us because I think she never worked with so three chaotic men. And we did it everything last minute, and I hope it was not so much stress for her. So thank you, Marta.
Maybe most important because it's from trainings and first meetings, and you will see there many people, many long-term members of the association, which are all of them already over 50, as we are, so you can go through. Well, this time non-digital time of the future.
Já se podívám, co tam je, to je na druhou stranu. Jo. Tam chybí můj obrázek, to je škoda. Jo, tam je. Jo, je tady. Jo, tak tady jsem já, tady je ta historie, kterou nebudu říkat, je to dlouhý s WordCampem od roku 94 a tak nějak podobně jako kluci, ale nebyli jsme spolu. Sorry, the English. Very similar to the history of what these three guys were describing. I had a chance to be with them in a board, so we were closely cooperating. And in the year 2005, there came this idea that maybe after 15 years of volunteering and voluntary leading of the organization, we would need a director who would be able to direct all of it. And at that time, I was kicked off my place in the government. I was working for the government at that time. Because I looked a bit like Tom Cruise with the Mission Impossible picture in my head. I decided, okay, we couldn't find anyone for it. Took 1 year of search of a first director. So I decided this is my Mission Impossible. And thank you very much, the people I'm seeing here since 4 o'clock I came, because it was not me standing here, but many people who were the part of INEX from 2006. And not only the INEX as a volunteers, but the first, not the first stuff, but the first bigger stuff. And it's here probably then. Okay, so this is how I see, and we can discuss then later on if it really felt like this. We had 15 years of existence with a minimum of employees. We heard about the civil service men, many great people who volunteered, but we needed to make, to professionalize the organization. So I take my memories back that was the first time I came to INEX as someone who could bring a structure a bit. And I'm actually economist. My high school is economy, so I applied this, and it was kind of sufficient for INEX to survive the nowadays, and of course not with me. We had some financial losses due to the new plans and buildings, and again it was great to have the staff and people who helped, and yeah, we made it. And what was new and what is something that I still exists and is with INEX was that we came a bit out of the rural areas. We kept our great guys there. We were visiting them and coming for the trainings, but the Prague office started to be more independent in the activities that were at that time interesting for the volunteers and people around 20s. And again, it will be sad about plan and football for development, so I need to go too much into detail. I am very glad I have at home a backpack made of this poster, so I put it here, because still now I still wear this Jak se žije in everything. Here you can see the part of the team from 2008. And the moving, to me, was the symbol of growing, because somehow, from this small office, we actually used as a stock, how you call it? Store, as a store. Then we moved to the upper floor, we had 1, 2 offices, and then it started to be too small. So we firstly moved to Budečka, maybe you don't know, just in front of Hospoda u Bulínu. And we stayed there. At that time I thought, okay, it's been 16 years we stayed at Senovážné, so another decade at least will be at Budečka. But after 2 years we couldn't fit in there again because the team grew up. So we moved in 2010 to Varšavská, and that's it. So, so I'm really happy always to come back to Varšavská and see that this is actually from Senovážné náměstí, even with the, maybe you still have it there. So that's it. I don't want to speak too much about my stories because there are so many people behind all the stories, and in some way they are very different and very much alike each other. Okay, and this is the next period of time of my directing. So I was leaving Prague's office and INEX as a whole, because at that time still there were 4 branches, maybe 3 branches. At 2010, with having my first great baby, Africa, and then there was a 6-year pause. Something was happening, and I got this great Mission Impossible idea that it might be a good thing to step twice into the same water, because it was so good for the first time. So I came back, and I was 5th director of INEX in 2016 and 2018, which was really hard thing to be. And it's still something that I'm thinking of, how could I do better? And again, the team grew up. There were many more people than in 2010, which for me is a good sign of growing and healthy organization. Still at Varšavská, but we had so many changes. I don't know how we are doing today's, but there were so many changes in financial managers. And the Football for Development started its dividing from INEX. So to be honest, I always need to be kicked off somewhere, like the government or the second INEX experience. And now I'm for 8 years in an NGO, and I'm waiting for them to kick me off, because otherwise I will stay and keep my importance. So I don't want to stay anymore here. I just want to share that, to me, the key achievements of INEX are to sustain and to just go on and to be for the people who find the connection through volunteering, through work for the others. Okay. This is 2005 at Hartenberg, and Hartenberg is getting ready for the new. Can you help me? I started to be too emotional. Okay, so this is 2005, and I think this kind of photo will be taken at Hartenberg this June too. So history is not repeating, but somehow still keeps the same connecting, volunteering as a connecting. So that's
Okay, so I have 2.5 minutes, I guess, to tell you something about the Volunteers Club. And one important thing before I start speaking, I see so many people who came through the Volunteers Club here tonight, which means it was a very successful experience. And I don't want to take all the credit, because there was one person before me who started the whole idea of Volunteers Club. His name is Lukáš Policar, and I don't know if he's here, right? Oh, he's over there. Okay. And Lukáš was actually calling me this afternoon, and I couldn't pick up. Then I called him back. He declined the call. So we speak later. But anyway, there was a project in. I don't know what's on the slides. It's gonna be the same surprise for me as for you. Okay. So there was a project called the Young Europeans for Global Development, which was like a pretty big European-wide project, which supported global development education. And there was this like idea, which I think Lukáš smuggled into the project, that you need to work with people on long-term basis, that you that volunteering cannot be just like that you travel out, you have wonderful summer experience on exotic place, and then you come back home and you do nothing until next summer. So the point of this of the project of Volunteers Club was to change it and keep the people let's say engaged on a long-term basis throughout the whole year until the next summer, and hopefully for many years in a row. So that was the basic idea, and what? Okay, that's a response already. So that's good, because I was afraid that there would be things that I wouldn't approve. Yeah? I would say like the golden era of the Volunteers Club was, let's say, 2013 to 14. So it was right in the middle of Martina's absence in the in the organization. We never met as colleagues, but there were directors Martin Kocourek and then Dagmar Pouskova, who I don't know if she's here, but I think she left a. Oh, okay. She really left a trace, I think, in a positive way. But anyway, in the Volunteers Club during those years, we really managed to start some groups, and I would say at the peak there were like 50 active volunteers in the year, and 8 different topic groups, each of them with their own project. Where was and I think like compared to like anything we could imagine was quite okay, because we couldn't offer anything. Then you just like you go and you do something, and the best we can give you is institutional support. You do not get to interesting places, you only meet your friends in here, but still people made a lot of interesting projects during this. And I think the secret of the success was a thing called INEX Pub. Then Volunteers Club got renamed into INEX Up, but INEX Pub was a monthly evening when we really met in a, usually it was Café Blessé. There was also the golden age of Café Blessé, which corresponded the same with golden age of Volunteers Club. And we usually had a guest, really interesting guest. I would name, just to give you an example, for example, Mikuláš Ferenčík from Piráti. He wasn't famous back then, otherwise he would have come. Or Ondřej Štepl from SEO schools, and interesting guests like that. There was always this debate, and then there was like drinking together, and I think we were pretty good at that back in the days. And I think that's what held the company together. So, but anyway, what was produced in Volunteers Club? I would just name. I will give like 3 examples. So there was this group called. I hope I said it right. Step Out from the Crowd, right? Who did those wonderful experiential learning events for people, I would say like really tough topics such as like simulating of dictatorship, authoritarian regime, closed in a hut for 3 days somewhere in the countryside. You can correct me, but really intensive events. And I think there's most of the group here today. There's Sharka, there's Alcha, there is Petr, Hanka, I think as well, right? I met also Eliška, Vilka, yeah. And so all those people are here today, and you can ask them about more details. But it was a really successful project. And another one I would like to name was Naden. Jonasz, I think, represents the group here today, which managed to start their own ZS, Zapsaný spolek. So they made their own NGO, which I think is pretty dope. Because that was what we hoped to achieve. And the last one I would like to name is really interesting because it's the only volunteers club group, I believe, which is still functioning today. It's no longer like a volunteers club group, but it's an NGO called Respon, and I would like to invite here and share the word with Markéta Svobodová, who should be here somehow. Okay. So thank you.
Hello everybody. It's nice to also see you. Can you hear me? Yes. So yes, as Ondra said, I'm from Respon, and maybe I could also switch to. Yes. And actually, we were founded, or I founded this group in 2015 in spring, so we are more than 10 years old. And exactly as Andra said, I founded this group as one of the projects. And we were actually called SUSMAK that time as sustainability makers. But after a few years, we found out that this word is some like nasty word in Arabic or something like that. So our member found it. So we were thinking, okay, we should maybe rename ourselves. So we were trying to find some other name, and Respon was like responsibility on. So from that time, we are Respon. And maybe I will tell you what we are doing, but maybe firstly, before I go there, I will comment on what Ondra said about the registered association, because we are also a registered association. And this was actually not something what I would have been thinking about, but it was one member of INEX, Lenka Polcerová, I think she's not here. But at one time we were like cooperating with Prague Free and trying to help them with a shared refrigerator, like with the food, leftovers and so on. And they wanted a contract with us, and because we did not have our like entity, we had to invite INEX. So Lenka had to go with us, for these meetings. So she said, "Hey, you have too many activities, so maybe you should really think about, having your own NGO." So this was actually the motivation that we were kind of kicked. Okay, you should really, have me around because it's too much. So yeah, this is the reason why we founded this this association. And maybe also my motivation to actually create this volunteer group was that at that time I was really already motivated into sustainability, but in the company I was working, I was doing the social part, like employing disabled people and so on, and I was really missing the environmental part. So this was my motivation to create this project. And this is how we came into being this organization. And here about our activities, since the beginning we have been always like international group. So we had somebody from abroad, like students, or somebody who was working in the Czech Republic, but usually for half a year, 1 year. So we had like often like this fluctuation, and really international team from US, from Romania, from like all the parts. And this is, for example, the two girls from America who helped us with do it yourself event. sustainability evenings, which we were doing also with documentaries on environmental topics, and do it yourself, which you can also try in the stand there with me or with somebody from INEX. I brought some materials for dry shampoo, and they are already for something else to create if you want to try. And since COVID, we are also doing many online activities. We are also co-organizing conference with REN and with Pavel, with other like volunteer groups, which will be in June. So I invite you to join this online conference called Dobro udržitelná konference. This is photo from EcoFest, which was I think 1 week ago, where we were also doing something like this. So we are continuing with offline events as well, but we are also doing these online events, which you can check out on the website and Facebook. And last thing, we have started with activities like exhibition, with big posters regarding the environmental topics, through trying to persuade Náplavka to use reusable cups, which was achieved actually several years after that. They told me that they found, the papers with the proposals, and with others pushing this actually went into force at the end. And to consulting organizations, but also individuals, and doing these public events for everybody, free of charge. And the last thing we are doing is now the sustainability podcast. It's called Sustainability Research Simplified. So if you are interested in data being transferred in a simpler way, you can check it out as well. So thank you very much, and I'm giving the word to
Good evening. I hope you can hear me. I will talk mainly about one offspring of INEX, which is called Football for Development. Later it changed the name. I was just wondering who in the hall somehow knows Football for Development in terms of being in some event, seeing it live. Okay, so
does count sitting in the same office count?
No. Okay, even this. The personal story is, as it was mentioned even before, at the end of the studies, I was volunteering with INEX in Kenya. That's me. Connections in here. And I spent with INEX some 10 intense years volunteering, then project coordinator, then director, then board member. So it was quite cool, and I'm actually quite thankful for that till nowadays. So that's the personal aspect. The project aspect of it is that I was lucky as a volunteer to work for Mathare Youth Sport Association in Kenya. It was a fantastic experience, and basically somehow after this experience I was lucky. There was a combination of, let's say, passion for football, some ambition to start something new, and actually support of INEX. Martina is here back then as a director, but also Jana Milezová was very kind of helpful, energetic, and proactive as a coordinator, and this enabled to actually start the project. There was also interest from the state to kind of connect the global development agenda with football as a kind of unusual tool. And we basically, the first phase was that we brought usually Kenyan youngsters for a campaign for 1 month to Czech Republic. We started in Prague, and we were going around the country. I remember when I took them to my home region, Bruntalsko, very popular region in the country, and my hometown. Very often, actually, for example, people in my hometown for the first time in their life, they saw a black person, and then they saw a group, and they saw that they can play football, and they're fantastic dancers. So there were many aspects how it actually worked. I think this picture says something about it, but also there was aspect we did actually seminars for high schoolers. Typically the kids from Nairobi slept in Czech families, so there were many layers of this intercultural experience. So those were the beginnings. We talk about 20 years now, and I'm trying to squeeze it into 5 minutes. But I think one milestone, it basically started as a basically football in its social dimension and as a tool of intercultural learning. And there were some 5 coordinators during those 2 decades. After me, Pavel Žvák, then Lucka Juříková, then Štěpán Kincel, if you know them, and now it's actually Ensley Hoffman. And I think the basic milestone happened, let's say, around the halftime, when actually it shifted from, let's say, intercultural learning more into actually grassroots work in the Czech society, organizing street leagues, working actually more with youngsters from socially excluded areas and so on. And that's where actually football for development back then is nowadays, and now it's called Fair Play Point. So you can talk about milestones even more in detail, but I don't want to make you too tired. So this is actually the identity, the visual identity of the project today. Ensley takes great care of the project, and this is Ensley. And
thanks to all of you, former colleagues, volunteers, friends, partners. Happy birthday to all of you. 35 years ago, it's quite a journey. And as Robin mentioned to you, hi Robin, 20 years ago, Football for Rozvoj also started and has been part of that journey. For myself, it's been 15 years that I've been part of that journey, actually through an email to Robin, where I asked if he could come and volunteer, and he gladly offered me volunteer. So that's how my journey started. Since then, I've been continuing my connection with Football for Rozvoj, and also created our own organization, which is now called as a continuity of what has started and developed through Football for Rozvoj. What was back then like raising awareness campaign is now this holistic platform which provides support, which provides care, which provides meaningful activities to youngsters who don't have the means to realize their full potential. But thanks to the activities we provide to them, we can make them realize that they have this potential, they have this perspective, and many things have been achieved in the last 20 years, and we are looking forward ambitiously to the next 20 years. This year we are maybe featured in the Czech television. We can look forward to that in a month's time. We'll be also connected internationally, as always, a very strong component of our work since the very start of the Football for Rozvoj. It's still very strong. We'll have youngsters sent to the Europe and to Belgium this year, so big milestones ahead. And of course, you can also look forward to our own 20 years of celebration. Until then, I wish you a good night, good memories, have a good time, and take care and live for the values of INEX and Football for Rozvoj. See you. Bye.
It's a great point, not to miss it. It started as an offspring, I said, but nowadays it's actually an independent organization. What was quite interesting, I think last year I participated in some event of this organization, and it was quite interesting for me to hear from actually the social workers who are somewhere from the regions, and they mostly work with the youngsters, that they were telling me that Fair Play Point has very special kind of atmosphere, somehow probably coming back from informal education, and they were actually, even though they didn't know where it comes from, they were somehow guessing that it's probably some kind of DNA of INEX, which I think was a nice connection, which is worth mentioning here. And maybe the last point, you can see how Fair Play Point actually looks today. So this is the last video and end of my speech.
Thank you.
I just a small addition. Nancy mentioned that the film will be screened this year, and it's actually in 1 month. I'm the director of the movie. I was volunteer of the Football for Roswell back in 2012-13. I was around the project as a photographer of the campaign when it was still touring the Czech Republic with the Kenyans and later people from different countries. And 2 years ago I shot the movie. And it will be on 10th of June in Czech television, so you can see how the project looks nowadays.
I'm not going to be here alone, but doesn't matter. I also don't know what's gonna be there, so it will be a surprise. But first, let me ask you, who went to a work camp here? Can you just put it? Who went as a camp leader? Even kind of more. Who was a trainer? Still a lot of hands up. Who was a part of the team, or it is a part of the team. And finally, who was a board member or member of the organization? Yeah. See, a lot of you, actually these were also my roles in INEX, and they are... Okay, let's start first. That was actually not at the beginning, because I'm here to tell you more about the, let's say, difficult times in INEX that they were called resilience. One of it, it was started, the photo is here because of this, of beautiful creative campaigns. And one of the things if I think about this period, is that the PR and the marketing things really got so much into a lot of things, like tattoos, and who can have tattoos like work camps. Yes, this is actually one of the first photos of me being kind of like a bit more involved. As you can see, the new logo, and not only the logo but the visual style and stuff, it's very beautiful and very much simplified. One of the first international trainings, not work camps, but trainings. Actually, this was from Project Agents of Change, and it was with Hungarian organization Cooperation, and it's still actually working. INEX is just, I think, not like so much involved, but the idea of this Agent of Change methodology is still on. And this is a photo of the members, people. You can also see some new coming members, like these small ones, the future generation. It's also part of the resilient time to think about what's going to happen in the future. And this is from Semjenica. It's like the gathering of members and people. This is another event for members, but not only, but also for the other community. It's picnic. It's kind of a little tradition to have picnic with the board members. They organize that, and I think one is going to happen very soon, so you can join. And this is also from other member kind of event of Christmas gatherings. So as you can see that the resilient 20s. Oh, and there are no other pictures I really wanted to show you, so I can tell you, because the first one was obviously talking about 2019 and 2020. That was the COVID time. Yes, so organization, as you saw before, was really fruitful, and suddenly pandemic and COVID came. So basically, everything kind of stopped, and it was just went to some of the basics. A lot of the things got online. It was a very huge experience to actually run trainings online. I have a lot of pictures on this, but maybe I can show later. It was also a big experience to like get new things I can work better because one weekend training to have online is kind of boring. But it was also possible, and there was the whole weekend online training. But it got mainly to the small ones, like 1 day online training, even better. And after that, especially then later on 2021, then the situation was much better. Everyone felt like a new starting, like imagine, I don't know if you still remember the feeling for the first time when you gathered with some people and they were just like 30, but you felt like so many people and everyone was possible to speak and talk, and then the new event started. So it was very difficult from the beginning, but INEX survived, but not only survived, but it transformed and changed, and I think it's one of the main things. When I thought about this, was because of the community. Yeah, that's why I asked you about all of these roles, because the community was the thing that was always present, and community, and those like small roles and those little communities like trainers or camp leaders or teamers or members and board members, those were, and the others, those were the communities that survived and that helped INEX to survive kind of in a smoothly way. So that's all from me, and to Christina. Yes. The speaker. Ne, zadu poprojektu.
Hello guys, I'm the last one to talk, and this is really like the best position ever. Thank you very much. So I will try to squeeze my speech as well to. Sorry, I will first give the floor to Pavel. Then I'm really the last one. Sorry.
Sorry, I interrupted you. I just want to introduce Christina, so I will be short. I took the role of chairman because I really believe in volunteering, and I can feel really power in it, and I think it can change the world, and it already changed the world in some aspects. And I wish INEX survive another 35 years, and not only survive, but be really in shape and like do good things. And I think the clue for that is to build a strong community around INEX. That's what I want to focus on. And I would like to invite all of you to join us if you want and can help us. And I think that's basically all from me. And Christina will now present to you what INEX is going to do in the next years.
Yes. So this was Pavel, our chairman. Yeah. And unfortunately, I'm really not able to speak about the year 2024. And yeah, so there is some gap because there were some personal changes before I came. Therefore, I will just cover the years 25 and 26. And especially what I want to do is to present you our strategy, which we really worked hard on during last year. And that somehow presents our thoughts, our wishful thoughts, how we would like to develop INEX within 5 years to go. So, but maybe just kind of to match the history and the nowadays and the future together. There were many interesting stories shared. So just for you to imagine how INEX looks like nowadays, we are still in Warszawska, that's very important to say. It's still the same place and we are not moving yet, although we are 50 employees nowadays, working in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different departments. We are still dealing with volunteering, both outgoing and incoming. We send around 250 volunteers abroad and we receive the same number here. We run work camps. This year it will be 18 different work camps in 18 different places. No, in 17 different places. But we also do education. We try to be active in non-formal education. We do a lot of trainings for camp leaders, for trainers, and we also add new trainings like trainings on solidarity, global solidarity, transcultural solidarity. And we also do recognition, and which is meant to kind of match the non-formal and formal education together. Kind of challenging, but we are trying. So this is already going on, but we would like to build up on it. And now I'm just going to shortly present what is the plan. So, but before doing it, I would like to remind us all about our vision and mission. So, why we are here is that we want to create opportunities for active participation in society and for gaining knowledge, experience, and attitudes useful for personal, civic, and professional life. I hope what you heard during last 1 hour kind of confirmed that it's happening, or it has been happening, and hopefully it will be happening in the future. This is our values. It is the pillars we stand on, and also these are remaining not changed. So it's volunteering and active citizenship, it's direct experience, very important for us, together with critical thinking. So what we want is to give the opportunity to youngsters to experience something directly, have their direct experience, but also to think critically about what they are seeing, what they are experiencing. At the same time, we want to build understanding and respect for diversity, and also what is important for us is the responsibility and sustainable development. And throughout the year 2025, we worked on a strategy, and these are like 4 different paths we want to achieve during like future 5 years. So it's first one, strengthening the global solidarity and partnership. Second one, developing competencies for tomorrow. Third one is about our communication. We want to be seen and heard. And fourth one, it sounds boring, but it's very important. We want to be operationally and financially sustainable. Yes, and how? Well, like what we would like to achieve is to focus on the global south again. Although the program which has been mentioned here, GLEN, has the very luxury to be supported from Germany, and it kind of brought us possibilities to really send Czech and German volunteers to Global South, but also to prepare them through some sort of a pre-departure trainings. We don't have the funding yet, but we are trying. There are some like first small funding which we achieved in the last year. So, for instance, this year we will send 2 volunteers to Kenya and Southern Africa with financial support, because we somehow feel that if we are able to support our youngsters financially to travel to the Global South, and also then first to prepare them and then to kind of share the knowledge they have learned here in the Czech Republic, it could really bring us somewhere. So, yeah. So it kind of brought me to the question, like, what does the transcultural solidarity looks like? So you see the old picture which you have seen many times throughout the last hour, and you see the picture from last summer, from the bus tour from Denmark to Kosovo. I think it looks very much alike. And one one could think that it's still like repeating and it's still the same. But for me personally, I feel that within the like really quickly changing world, we need to kind of think of what transcultural solidarity means to us, and we need young people to be involved in it, perhaps even more than in the previous years. So, and as I said, we would really love them to be trained in critical thinking and somehow in also ethical communication and prepare them for their travels. But also we really want them to get the direct experience and learn on their own, to see it, to somehow get in the touch of the world. And also we would like to include the staff members in the travels if possible. Yeah. We also want to focus on competencies with our local partners, with camp leaders, but also with the internal staff of INEX. And this is the new stuff that also what we are working now in INEX is something what we call impact measurement. In last 2 days we were focusing on it with our international friends, and so this is another step also, that although we are doing really nice stuff and important stuff, we somehow want to let the world know about it in a bit different way. So we are now doing like impact questionnaires, and we are receiving data which we are now like working with, and we can see, okay, we can say this is the impact of INEX, this is the influence we have on the young society and on the society in general. And we would really love to share this knowledge in the network of Alliance and our networks of IBS organization. Yeah. And what has been said many times, like the community is crucial for INEX. We all know it, but somehow it feels that throughout the COVID years, the society has changed, the young society has changed, and honestly, this is kind of a task, difficult task for us to build the community again. But it is definitely our goal. We would love to be supportive for the young generation and again open some year-round activities which would be welcomed by the young generation. So we really love them to be included in the development of it and restart some of our year-round activities. And also, what is very important, to focus on school and other institutions, but schools especially. We do have some partnerships with universities, but somehow we feel that we need to get in touch with younger generation, not only with those who are already studying on university, but also those who are perhaps in the high school. So this is actually the task of the recognition section, represented by one colleague nowadays. Yeah. So we do a lot of presentations on school. We are trying to be active there, and again, like, let others know about international volunteering and what kind of opportunities it brings. Yes. So please hold us fingers, because a lot of things are in front of us, and yeah, of course, none of it could be done without a great support of all these people. So this is our INEX team nowadays.
I had a special request for a very short message now.
I would like to thank you for the future. This is important thing. I raised the glass for it, as my son asked me last month if he can go for work camp to Estonia, as I said. So maybe he will cancel again. Really. And did you? It was not in presentation. Did you count? Maybe not, but it was 1,000 of people who went through this association during the time, and I I think that more than half of them are still working in NGO, developing the society and so on. So thank you for the future, which will serve for it more.
Okay, so now, if I'm not mistaken, the time has come to see the video premiere.
Imagine a time when you didn't sign up for a WordCamp online, but you sent your application by mail in an envelope with a stamp. The year was 1991 and INEX was born. Back then, under the name SMVTM INEX, Združení pro mezinárodní výměny a turistiku mládeže, a group of enthusiasts and adventurers who believed the world could be discovered in a different way. Not through holiday catalogs of beach vacations in Croatia, but through volunteering. Our first WordCamp was in the Sals Nature Reserve near Het, where volunteers repaired wooden walkways, installed signs, and helped at an ornithological observatory. INEX was growing and gaining strength. In 1994, we joined the Alliance of European Voluntary Service Organizations, which opened the door to Europe for us. 4 years later, we became part of the global volunteer network CCIVS. We established 3 regional branches. We gained important accreditations to host, but also to send volunteers abroad. We launched programs such as GLEN, Football for Development, Volunteering Club. We were unstoppable. Then 2020 came, COVID. The world stopped. How could international volunteering and non-formal education be carried out during a global pandemic? We managed to send only 62 volunteers abroad, and we did everything we could to keep volunteering going, at least at home. And today, once again, we send hundreds of volunteers out into the world each year. We have evolved. Our brand new recognition section is now bridging the gap between formal and non-formal education. We are piloting new training programs to foster active solidarity. And we look ahead. We want to do even more, to further empower young people to think critically, to see the world in global context, and to show that anyone can truly become an active part of society. Thank you for being with us.
I saw this for the first time as well, and I must say it was an amazing job, and I thank you, Polina. Thank you, Marek, so much. It's truly amazing. I hope you liked it as well. I think it was awesome. So now, because it was a bit longer than expected, so let's cut this. I would ask you all to join Christina and Pavel. Now we will have toast for the 35th year of INEX, which is waiting for us already for a bit out there. And we have 2 cakes, 2 birthday cakes. One is normal, one is vegan and gluten-free, so everybody can have a piece and celebrate together. I think there is still some hot food left over, hopefully. So let's go on out and let's have a drink.